Hello, beautiful souls. Happy Aries Full Moon and happy autumn or spring, depending on what hemisphere you're in. As you can tell from my energy and expression, I am in the Northern Hemisphere and celebrating our move into autumn. We have so much to talk about. October is absolutely dynamic, and we're in this really nice little, what I see is we're at the starting line, kind of revving our engine in confidence, right? It's like maybe there's nervous energy, and if there's nervous energy, it's excitement because there's an underlying solidification of strength and confidence that we have brought in from the huge retrograde season we are just coming off of. Now, if you haven't checked out my last video, absolutely get into it. Myself and the beautiful embodiment guide and astrologer Kelsey Isis drop into some really dynamic energies. We talk about the Saturn-Uranus square that we're going through right now. We're in the peak through the first couple weeks of October. We talk about the importance of this nodal axis and the eclipse season with Scorpio and Taurus. And we talk about how to harness retrogrades and how to work through them in power and utilize the energy and how divinely timed and placed they are. You do not want to miss that. I am adding it up here somewhere in a card right now. So finish this video and come back and check that out. Do yourself a favor. Now, if you are new here, welcome. Like I said, I'm Lori Rising. I'm an intuitive medium, a ritual facilitator, an embodiment guide, a trauma-informed healing artist, and your biggest cheerleader into your majesty and divinity. I also pride myself on being a fear culture destroyer because as we shed those BS layers of programming and conditioning, we release the true light that has always been inside of us, that we came here to be and live out and share in this world. Now, if you'd like to know more about me and my offerings, go to therawandwildhearts.com. I've got an upcoming live digital course called Awaken Your Life Force. It's my signature program, and it's a way to work with me one-on-one for a very, very small, beautiful price. You get over 12 hours of personalized guidance with me, bonuses, and so much more. I also have an intimate, advanced, and accelerated retreat coming up in Mexico in January. So check that out. It's called Awaken Your Fire. And I have lots of freebies to check out and meditations and advanced meditations. And I also do personal readings where we bring in the holistic person that you are. So we look at your astrology chart, we talk to your guides, we do card reads, and we also look at this experience from a healing-based perspective. Wow. So if you're feeling stuck in your life, but something is tapping on your soul, a reading is a great way to start right now. Okay, so let's get into it. As we have come off of this retrograde season, which really started with a bang. And when I say bang, it really created those spaces of resistance as the retrograde planets grew power in their slowdown, right? It's like as we move into higher frequencies on this planet and in this universe, everything gets bigger. As our cells move from the density that they've always been in and that we normalized into the light body activation that we are meant to be as a multidimensional being, we feel all the energy at such a visceral level. We cannot deny it anymore, especially if you're working with these transits and this weather and these fluctuations consciously. And so if you are able to move through the breakthrough in order to get to the break free and that resistance, in order to get to the lessons and the learnings and the evolutionary jumps that we now get to make when we create such a deep intention with the shadow periods, with the growth periods, with really the gig of being human. I know you've heard me say that before if you're a longtime listener, but it's true. As we normalize the wounds and the trauma of being human, the emotionality, the vulnerability, the authenticity, we actually get into the light and more expansion. We create huge catapults in that soul growth. Does that mean that we ascend to a place of no more trauma and wounds? I can't answer that, but my belief is no, because that's what we're here to do. That's how we understand our innate medicine, because it's in ourselves, and we're reawakening that knowledge that we came in with. It's not in something outside of us. It's not in an institution, a school, and even in a book. You know, there's lots of aids and supports and guides, including books, podcasts, mentors, you know, nature. I mean, there's so much, but I'm talking about in those systems. Of course, they can be a beautiful support as we move along, but when we completely give our power over to them in that expert narrative, in that educational based narrative, then we negate everything that's working to come up through us, as our body is the conduit, right? And so we also bypass the messages and co-creative energies that are coming through with that source navigation, with our guides, our higher self, our ancestors, our angels, our star family, right? So right now in Libra season, since the sun is moving through Libra, this is where we really kind of take stock of what is and isn't balanced in our life. So you might actually notice in the last few days, you're really noticing the relationships that aren't feeling joyful in your life. They almost feel like they're sucking the life out of you. They can feel so inauthentic, and they can almost feel like a lie because they're not heart-centered. They're not coming from a deep place of love, of reverence, and of care for our humanity, for each other, for the experience that we are all having. It can almost feel forced, right? And we can look at this in our family relationships, and we can look at this in our communities and friends and coworkers. Any relationship that you have, you can see where you've been doing it because it's there, right? You've been doing it because you're supposed to. And again, as we churn and make these deep shifts in these retrograde periods, where we go very internal, where we get maybe even a little triggered, right? Where we feel that resistance coming up within as a gift from the cosmos, from the energies around us. And then we come out in higher light, in less density. It's our truth meter, right? It actually becomes where we run on the frequency and energy that we feel, rather than the mind of what we expect or what we were supposed to do. So notice if you're going through that right now. But I do want to get into this Aries full moon, because it's such a beautiful and powerful energy to move us forward in this new state of vibration that we've I see it as it's like kind of like we've been spit out on the other side of that churning machine of the retrograde energy. And now the planets are like slowly coming out of retrograde, right? Mercury just stationed direct, and we have Pluto stationing direct soon. And so it's like, everyone that shifts to go direct, we feel the elevation of what came in that medicine and in that wisdom, right? And so the Aries energy is coming in to help us light a fire for the rebirth that we're now in, as we let the death of those old selves go from the wounds, the resistance, and the traumas that surfaced in what we may still be living from, right? From the conditioning and program, from what's not ours. And so now we take this new light, this new commitment is what I'm getting, this new declaration of who we are, how we're going to move forward in it, like the way we're going to shine our light as bright as possible, the jumps and leaps we're going to make in our life that might not make sense linearly, but they make sense to our heart, to that love frequency that pulsates through our body, to the photonic light that comes from our heart center in space. As we continue to make those deep connections, that begins to be more of our guidance system than the educational system, than the the parental system, than the supposed to system, than the ideas and judgments that were placed on us before we even had a chance to understand what we wanted and what's true for us in our soul. And so I love this energy that we're moving into, because Mars is going to be stationing retrograde on October 30th. And Mars is the ruling planet of Aries, and Mars is our action. And we have a lot of air energy right now. So it's a lot of inspiration, a lot of ideas, a lot of communications. And as you know, I'm sure you know, and if you don't, Aries is very impulsive. Aries is the initiator. It's the passion. I want to say it's the passion project, right? It's the first sign of the zodiac. So it's the child sign that like comes out in wonder and excitement and just leaps, right? Without that forethought. So I feel like this energy is really giving us this chance to leap deliberately instead of leaping, I want to say unconsciously, although I believe there's a lot of consciousness to it with the deep work that we have been undergoing. There still might be a place where we can find that balance. Thank you. In this Libra energy. So we find that balance right now in having a little more time to make that move, right? To look all around, to get spiral and open up to all possibilities instead of the first action and inspiration that we get, right? Hold that seed. Every inspiration that comes in with all of this air energy, please have a journaling practice. Write them down, plant them in your energy, and then let go. Be light with them and co-create in ways that come through. So co-create with your guides, with your navigation system, but also in this Libra energy, which is very social, right? Co-create with your communities, with your friends. Get inspiration, like plant the seed in your social groups and gatherings and see what comes in to strengthen it and possibly even work with it, right? So this is where new collaborations come in, new career paths, it can be new moves, like huge rebirth can happen in this energy that feels really grounded and solidified. Okay, even though we're not working with a lot of earth energy right now, we do still have Taurus in Uranus and Taurus in the North Node, and they are working together to keep creating big inspirations and big reactivations of what's true for us in our simplicity, in our space, in our values and our beauty, and even in the way we bring money in. So with the eclipse season coming up, that can really stir up our financial systems. And I want to say our financial systems in our own relationship with money, as well as our relationship with the systems that hold money, as well as how we view money. Like, it's so multifaceted. I mean, that's how the energy is, where we're going. It's never just a one and done, right? It's never just like, boom, this is it. There's so much complexity coming in, but we are complex beings. and we can hold so many states at once. We don't have to be one thing or the other. So it's really great to continue to break out of that judgment and duality or contrast, and allow the contrast to, like, I just got this this image of like where something comes down on one side and the other side leaps, right? Allow that to spring you into more of what is resonating in your frequency and your energy. So I feel like that's a pretty complete message about this Aries full moon. We do have Mercury. We have a lot of Mercury happening, and Mercury's in Virgo, and there's our earth energy. Thank you. Yes. So that is the discernment that comes in. So we've got the air as inspiration. We've got Aries, the fire, as like action. And then we have this beautiful threesome with Virgo as discernment. So really let yourself be in the full strength of this triad, right? So get into that journaling practice and see what comes up when you include all of those things, all of those elements together of inspiration, action, and discernment. It's such a beautiful place to be in. And that's how we do go forward in very deliberate and grounded ways. Thank you. Yeah, there was one more energy to talk about, and they let me know. So we're just going to do a quick card pull here and see what our guides are saying about this time, and, you know, where we can go from here. We're getting pretty messy with the cards, that's for sure. I'm going to do a past, present, and future pull today. I don't usually do these pulls, but I felt inspired to do this based on the retrograde energy of the death of the old self and the rebirth of the new. And it's like like I said, every time we go through this, there's a new centeredness and strength in who you came to be, right? Even if you're still in the same communities, even if you're still feeling the same energy coming, it's like you're rising up in a way that I get it as this like light stalk, right? If you think about your chakra pillar of light, it's like it grows in strength, like a beanstalk, right? And so every retrograde that's growing more, the sun, you're getting those light codes and the sun's rays, and it's like getting stronger and stronger, that it's impenetrable, right? And that gives you the fuel to step out further into maybe what is the unknown, or what may have been uncomfortable for you before, whatever that is, like speaking your truth, you know, equating receiving money for the medicine that you're here to share. That's a big belief system that we are transforming and excavating about what kind of production receives money, how it receives money, right? And so without getting too deep into that, it just felt important to say that, right? And so with the past, present, and future, that's why I want to really look at these cards in what are we letting go of? What are we marinating in? And where are we moving toward with these energies, and with the profound soul growth that we have all went through when you are consciously working with where we're at. I'm seeing people make bold moves all over the place as soon as Mercury stationed direct. I had 2 people jump into my Awaken Your Fire Mexico retreat, and that was absolutely on purpose. It's like, that's what I'm talking about, this beautiful strengthening in knowing what you invest in, how you invest your time, your money, your energy, and where that's going to take you, and being so solid in that there's no more guessing or doubt. Doubt is what I want to say. There's no more doubt, right? So it's like the financial commitment. It's like, yes, I know that this money and this commitment is going to be taking me into places that I've never even experienced before. I'm here for it. I'm ready. My spirit is open. And this is the next level of my alignment that will magnetize the rest of my life. It's like we are waking up to that even more at this point. That's where I feel like this retrograde energy has taken us, where it's like releasing that belief system of doubt that had gotten so planted in us from a scarcity belief system. And as you begin to experience the results, the creation of your reality, the magnetization of what you never knew was possible and what your old self never even thought was possible, it energizes you to go further, right? So that's really, as we kind of narrow down to what is the pulse of this life force, is your alignment. Because when you are in alignment, your frequency is so high and it magnetizes that exact frequency to it. Now, we live in a culture in extreme pain, in deep wounds, right? But as we create those states of alignment and magnetize the state of being and the light and the life that we were truly meant here to be, we emanate that frequency out and it becomes more available for others to tap into as well. So always remember that the higher you go in your alignment, the more you create in this vibration for others to tap into. And it's almost like that lifeboat, right? It's like the lifeboat gets bigger and more can jump on. So know that you are doing that. Okay, here we go. This is an interesting pull. So for the past, I got the temple path. And to me, this is telling me, this is a very discerning time where I've seen a lot of alignment guides, I'm going to say, metaphysical guides, soul coaches, spiritual manifestors, I don't know anything you want to call, like people who are inviting you in to your highest frequency and your highest bright light. I'm seeing that it feels like there's a plateau with many of them because they've been going through your mind, right? Like we can study about things, we can learn about it, we can learn about alignment, and we can study about astrology, but when we don't actually embody it, when we're not moving through ourselves and opening up ourselves from density to light, right? And transforming those imprints that have been with us for lifetimes, then we may plateau as well. And this is it feels like a very distinct point that we are at, where it's like up-leveling in a new way, and up-leveling in the way that you move into alignment. Like your temple path in the past may look very different than where you're going now. And so be open to new ways. I just got this message. I did a podcast about this that's called "We Do Not Know What We Have Not Experienced." And I continue to experience new celestial phenomena, things that my linear mind had never seen before, like new depths in my astral travels and my trauma release through my cells. And there's just so much, right? And so I really feel like you're leaving the way that you knew to move into alignment, because it has plateaued. And so that's where you're making these bold decisions. Like, yes, I'm going to go to that retreat. Yes, I'm going to take that course. Yes, I'm going to invest my time, my spirit, and my soul into this and be open. And I'm going to be the student. I do not know everything. I cannot know everything. That's the point of this journey, is continually expanding and learning and experiencing and sensing new. It is never ending. We're infinite. And I know that I am getting us to a point of levitation in these physical bodies. And so we'll come back to this at that point where I'll remind you that we had never experienced it before. So this is showing me that we're leaving the old ways in the past of what we knew to take us into soul growth and alignment. And we're opening up to new ways, new mentors, new guides, new experiences, new senses. Yes. And where we're at right now is patience. I love this. And it's like, if you can see in this card, there's a spiral center almost between the solar plexus and the second chakra, the womb space, the life force space, right? The life source space, I should say. So it's between the life force space, which is the solar plexus, and the life source space, which is our creation energy. And so it's like bringing those two together and allowing what comes out to unfold, right? Being in that space of curiosity and wonder without the space of the construct of time. Okay? Because when we actually let that time go and be in our place of just full acceptance of how it's meant to unfold according to when we are divinely ready and when our energy is opening up to that, then it comes so much quicker, so much sweeter, and so much more easeful. And then our future here is the reverse of contract. So that's telling me that you've got some contracts that you've been in, and this can be soul contracts, it can be written contracts, it can be work contracts, it could be friend contracts, it could be marriage contracts that you're letting die, that you're letting go, that you're releasing for the liberation. And you're also, you're also releasing the belief system around what it means to end those contracts. And right here, I just want to mention, there's no such thing as failure. We only learn from those pivots, right? We get more information when we make deep changes like that. When something happens that wasn't in our linear trajectory or expectation, in the past we've deemed it as failure. But when we actually tap into that beautiful energy, we learn that it was a new avenue, a new path that was opening up for us to take us where we're truly meant to go. And sometimes we delay that process by holding on in tension and resistance for so long. And I can speak on this because I held on in my marriage for a long time based on a lot of those belief systems. There was a lot of love too, even though my soul knew 2 years before that there was another path for me, that something else was meant for me and for my partner as well. And so I hope that helps you in really honing in to what it is that maybe has been tapping on your soul to break. And I wanted to say break. Again, I'm coming back to this break free to break through. And know that nothing is finite. So I'm going to give you the example again of my marriage. Like breaking free from that to break through, because we were very stuck in that time, never meant that we wouldn't come back together. We haven't as of now. There's always that possibility. And that's where we really get stuck. We create a future in our minds that has never even happened, right? And so just know that anything that you shift now could actually get it unstuck to the point where there's a space of healing. And it always has an opportunity to come back around. We are spiral beings. We live in a spiral dimension. Remember that. We are not linear. We are not finite. And the clarifier card that I pulled is Seer. And you will see so much more clearly. There will be such a depth of clarity when you break from this energy that I just got. It's like, it's interesting. I got an image of a swimming line, right? Where you can only stay in this rope to swim. But this is showing me that you're going to see so much more of that water and the healing that comes from that space. You're going to get the vastness of that body of water, and you're going to get the beauty of it, and you're not going to be in the limitation anymore. And so you see these eyes in this card, they're light and they're just open. And so you see what you haven't been able to see before when you make these bold moves, when you make them in such clarity and confidence. So use this Aries energy right now from the full moon to step forward in that deliberate discernment and action from the inspiration that's coming through. And this can circle back to these Libra energies of where you're really noticing what's in and out of balance in your life. And so we can look at, like, what are the contracts we've created in our life, right? The energy contracts. It doesn't have to be a written contract. This is the physical, the energy, the spiritual, the mind contracts, the belief system contracts, because we are in a beautiful space for making sovereign decisions in where we go from here. And send love, no matter what. When you're breaking through or breaking free from anything, send love. Love is our healing frequency for all. Love and heart center activation is where we are headed in this new earth awakening and rebirth. So this is your gift. It's your power. It's your comfort. And it's your co-creation. So I hope that those messages found you well, feel very supportive in this time. And I'm sending you so much love because, like I said, we're moving to some very dynamic energies in October. And I feel like we're really shoring some things up to move forward with strength and just beautiful, bold moves that are ready to be made in our lives. So until next time, don't forget to keep looking up.